Hey guys, what's up? So, this is an idea I've had for a little bit of time, and I actually decided to go, screw it, I'm gonna do it. One of my favorite things on this planet, for some reason, is TV show conspiracy theories. Yes, I just said conspiracy theories. But, it's not like I believe, like, oh, the moon landing was fake, or Bush did 9/11, no. One of my favorite things all time, though, is TV show conspiracy theories. Because when you have no logical background or information, things don't make sense. So I want to actually start this off with one of my favorite conspiracy theories, the Edd Eddy Purgatory Theory. Now, it's been talked about for a while, but I just want to do a video format of it, instead of people who have to go Google about it. So the Purgatory Theory is actually the show Edd and Eddy takes place in Purgatory, and that everybody's dead, because one of the things is, one, we don't see any parents. Two, they're always in the cul-de-sac. Like, we eventually later in the show get to see them in schools. But at the same time, we've also seen them at the candy store and all that. But Purgatory can be expanded to as big as place as it wants to be. Also, the only closest thing to an adult we ever see actually is Eddie's brother, which we'll get to that later on. Now, this theory I read about years ago, and it's still to the day one of my favorite theories. So, how it is supposed to go, like, each kid in the cul-de-sac died at a different time period, and it also helps explain their personality, too. Rolf, for example, he's the son of a shopper. But the theory says he died in the early 1900s, which is really interesting. Because we see Rolf is very old-fashioned, traditional stuff, and around that time, it would be, let's say, very like that as well. And the theory is he was killed by the animals on his farm, and the ones he dies, the ones that he takes care of, the ones have passed on because they have such a strong love. After that, they talk about Johnny. Yes, Johnny. Johnny is said is also in the 1900s, but more in the 1920s. And now, if I'm correct, around the 1920s was around the beginning of the Great Depression. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And his family was poor and all that, and that's why his best friend is Plank, a piece of wood. It was his only toy. So thus far, it would make sense around that time. And possibly he died of TB. Then after that was Eddie, our favorite lovable money schemer. Okay? His death is around the 1930s. And that I do know was during the Great Depression. And that's why he's so get-rich scheme dude. He needs money. And sadly enough, of course, he possibly died during a scam. Then we have Sarah and Ed, our two favorite siblings here. The theory for them is the 40s, which would make sense because I love the aesthetic diesel punk, like the 1940s, 50s stuff, but with that futuristic twist. And you see that with their house and everything. Their house and Ed's love of, like, the classic sci-fi stuff that came really big during World War II. In that time period would make some logical sense for them. It is very also possibly, they did die, because around the 40s is World War II. It's possibly they probably lost their parents, or one never was there, so they died because of that. And the possibility, it also kind of actually explains personalities. Sarah was thus left the woman of the house, which made her controlling and all that, because there was no one there. And Ed was an outcast. So, for him, comics and movies were his solitude. And if I'm right, the theory stated possibly a car crash for those two. Then we have Naz, our cul-de-sac heartthrob. Naz is possibly, I want to say around the 60s, where feminism very much came into play, because we see Naz as her character is a very strong character. Now, I don't know how Naz's death really went. I mean, it's possible maybe. I have no idea. I actually don't know how her death is. I've seen some different theories. Like one said serial killer, one said plain old random murder. Then we have our double D. Everybody, well, not everybody's, but double D was one of my favorites actually, personally. It's very likely, I think, for him. I mean, his parents are kind of neglective and at the same time extremely controlling, possible abuse. I think for him, if I'm right, his was the 80s. He was a very 80s kid. Very, very much an 80s kid. And we all know how Double D likes to invent and create things. Possibly he died from an experiment. Then we have Kevin. Kevin was the 90s. Yes. Kevin, I want to say possibly... Possibly, I want to say abuse with him. Because, I mean, we see Kevin, he very much, pretty much goes after the Eds nonstop. He's very much a bully. And from my past education, that most people who are bullies, they take what's happening to them in their home life and put it onto other people. So I say his parents may be abusive, and he died as a result from the abuse. Then lastly was Jimmy. I think Jimmy was I actually Jimmy's was the 2000s, and I want to say his death was illness. There's also other theories regarding our Jimmy, our beloved little Jimmy, to where he was also homosexuality, and possibly was killed of hate crime. I've seen that. Now, then we have Eddie's older brother, and then the Kanker sisters. The Kanker sisters are possibly demons sent there to torment them, because we have no idea. We see where they're from, but at the same time, they're always told never go to the trailer park. That would make me like, you're purgatory, don't go to hell. Now, like I said, the Kanker sisters are probably like the demons who sit there to torture them, because they appear out of nowhere half the time. Then there's one more part of that theory. We see Eddie's older brother in the big Edd and Eddy movie. Now, to anyone who doesn't know, throughout the whole series, Eddie's talking about how awesome his brother is, how great he is. Like, he's the most genius and ultimate schemer dude. What person do we know involving death is like that, besides death himself? The devil. And so the theory is Eddie looks up to the devil out in Purgatory because he's like the ultimate schemer dude. And when we see Eddie's older brother for the first time, he's just the most abusive dude ever. Like, he's horrible to everybody. Like, absolutely horrible. So the theory is he's actually the devil. And he just selects these kids to torture them for the rest of their life. But that is the Edd and Eddy Purgatory Theory. I want to do a little bit more of these now and then. If you guys want me to talk about theory, I could talk about theory. Like I said, I love TV show theories. Like, oh my god, I have like a little slew in my head. Some are like from theories of shows that ended, like, oh, we think this is how the show's ending, or this is actually what if scenarios. So I want to thank you guys for taking a watch the video. Hit the subscribe button and like this if you want to. I don't care really if you like this or not. I'm just doing this because this is something I want to do. And I will see you guys all later. Bye.